Hello, boyos.
Hello, boyo.
Welcome to Last Week in Games, where it's the only podcast that asks, is it video games? And then answers that question immediately with yes, it is, because everything is video games here. My name is Nick. That is Jake.
Hello.
How are you doing, Jake?
I'm good, man.
Cool.
The Royal Rumble no, just kidding. I'm not gonna say that again.
God damn. Yeah. So this week we got a couple of news stories for you. I'll save that one for last. We got Ubisoft executives are balls deep in NFTs, my guy. They just love them over there at Ubisoft. Respawn is working on some Star Wars shit, and just in boop 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 boop, Bungie is joining PlayStation. Crazy. We'll get to it in a minute after I catch up with my friend, my colleague, my lover, my sister.
Oh, hey, sister.
Hey, hey, sister. Yeah. What have you been playing? I saw you yesterday, but I don't know. I was in a mood. I was like in a fog yesterday.
Oh, okay. I didn't seem like it. You seem fine to me.
I seem fine. I don't know. I felt like yesterday was like, I just don't want to do shit. But we're here. We're queer.
True.
And you've been playing some shit.
I have.
I'm a little jealous. To be honest.
I have been playing some stuff. I have been playing Fortnite. I'm just kidding. I haven't.
No, you haven't. You'd be the second person to tell me that they've come around on Fortnite this week.
I have not touched that game in years. I am kind of curious to go back to it just to see what it's like now. Because when we were playing it, we were early adopters of the Fortnite. Like 2017.
Back when it was supposed to be a tower defense game.
Yeah, and then they were in desperation mode, and then it blew up out of nowhere, and we were all surprised.
But yeah, I was at a party, and somebody's like, "Hey, man, I started playing Fortnite again. Shit's good." And I'm like, "God damn it, man! Don't say that to me. Don't tell me that. I'll just fucking boot it up, and I'll play it, and I'll hate it, and be like, wow, what a waste of time." But yeah, you're not the first person to say Fortnite. I
get the appeal with the Spider-Man and Mandalorian and all that shit. Batman's in there, I think. I get it. I get the appeal of that. Well, what I don't like is the building. I don't like that at all. If that wasn't in the game, I'd be more, inclined to try it out.
I'm just kind of over battle royales, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
that too.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Fortnite has done a better job of being a Smash Bros game than Smash Bros any of them.
Except for Smash Bros.
What do you mean?
Smash Bros is a pretty good Smash Bros.
No. Oh. No, it's not. They only have the newest one's doing all right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right. Ultimate has all the characters, all of them.
But Fortnite has got Marvel people, it's got DC people, John Wick's in the motherfucking game. It's got Star Wars characters, characters cool. I don't even know where they're from, fucking Twitch streamers, anything you want. It's here's a toy box. You're playing with your toys. It's great. Great. That's
true.
Anyway,
I get that. But we can all get excited for that Warner Bros. Metaverse game. Mm-hmm. We're all very excited for that. No, but in reality, Nicholas, I have been playing Pokemon Arceus. I picked it up.
Shit.
Last week we had a discussion on the show, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to pick it up or not. $60. But then we had the conversation of it's a new Pokemon. It looks different. I didn't like Sword and Shield, but this looks like a different take on it. So I'm interested. And also I took into account, if I don't buy it now, it's not like most games where it's going to be discounted in a few months. This game's never going to be discounted.
Right.
So I said, fuck it. Let's get it. And I got it. I've only played about 2.5 hours of it, which I did on stream, and I haven't touched it since. But I will. I plan on it. Because what I played, I liked.
Uh-oh.
So my biggest issue, and I think I'll like it more the further I get into it. My biggest issue is I'm 2.5 hours in, and I feel like I'm still being handheld through the tutorial. It's just a very, very long tutorial. Which understandable because, this game's for fucking children and they have to like, and apparently from what I hear, it really opens up and just lets you do things. So it really has to like explain a lot of stuff, which they did add a lot of stuff too, which is cool. And I like the aesthetic of it. Like I like the fact that it's like, we're back in time. People don't know about Pokemon. So you're here to figure out what's going on with the Pokemon. You dropped from the heavens. Literally, you dropped from the heavens,
from the future, right?
Yeah. But they don't really explain that. Maybe they will further on. I doubt it. I'm sure it'll just be like, you're from the future. Who cares?
This is where you're at now. You've always had Pokemon, and now these people need help.
Knowing like Pokemon, they don't care. They just drop you in from the future, probably because it's like, we know most of you have played a Pokemon before. So it's supposed to be like, insert yourself into the past of Pokemon, which is cool. I like that. So, and it also makes sense that they would send, this, I think they say you're 14 in this game. They're like, it makes sense that they would send a 14-year-old out because you're like one of the only people who can actually catch a Pokemon and understand Pokemon. So they're like, okay, let's send this child to research
to
Pokemon.
His death.
Yeah, pretty much. But there's a lot of like things that I've noticed that should have been added to previous Pokemons that they added in this finally. For one, when your Pokemon like gains a new ability, it doesn't like stop the flow of the game, right? It doesn't be like it's not like, hey, right now decide what do you want to get rid of, and it just pops up in the corner. It's like, hey, your Pokemon has a new ability. Go into the the section anytime you have a chance, and you can upgrade it. You can change your Pokemon skills at whim whenever you want, which is cool. I love that, actually.
It's the way to do it.
And it also feels a lot less like you're stuck with this now, because I think you can change it out anytime you want, which is really cool. I like that. Also, I like the fighting mechanics. It's the same sort of, fighting mechanics as before, but it looks cooler because you can like run around and like actually look at the battle.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that. And you can like toss your Pokemon out and just like hang with your Pokemon, which is pretty cool and cute. And like, the game's kind of ugly, but I feel like that's kind of to be expected now with the Switch. The Switch can only handle so much, which is unfortunate. But for a Pokemon game, like this is a huge step up, I think. But like, there's still some things that I'm just like, man, can we not get voice acting in this game? Like, still, like we still can't get voice acting in these games. Like, this is your biggest franchise. Even Zelda had fucking voice acting in it, back in the fucking 64 had voice acting.
That was more like, ooh.
Yeah, sure. But but like Breath of the Wild had voice acting, and I would appreciate just we could still have all the ready and scrolly stuff, but just some voice acting would be nice, especially for a game with like such a long tutorial and kids have to read all this shit. And me, I have a short attention span, so it'd be nice.
And you don't know how to read, so it takes a lot longer.
It's a struggle, man. It's a struggle. Yeah, so like that, and then like the Pokemon still make like the weird noises and stuff. It'd be cool if they actually said their names like in the show. I think
that's the thing about Pokemon. It's like they don't actually say their names.
They do in the show.
Do they?
Yeah.
But no, because Staryu goes, "Hiya."
Okay, yeah. Some of them do weird things.
So
some of them do weird things, but most of them are like, Pika Pika or Squirtle, like
that's true.
And it'd be cool if it's still like the generic like weird sounds that they make and shit. But I'm sure I'll have more to say about this game when I play more. Yeah,
I'm
but
jealous. I want to play it.
I think you should pick
see
it
what
up.
it's. I do have a question.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer, but what starter did you go with?
Oh, what I want you to. What do you think?
I think because I would pick it as well, and it's right in that time frame. I feel like you went with Typhlosion, Cyndaquil.
You'd be right. I did go with
Oh,
Cyndaquil.
okay. All right. You paused a little long, and I'm like, am I wrong? Did he go
So
with the fucking owl thing?
I had a really hard time choosing between the two though, because you know me, I'm a huge bird
There's
fan.
only two. There's only two, by the way. If you pick
Yeah, who's picking
Oswat,
that ugly
no,
little thing,
yeah,
that weird clown creature? No, I'm a huge fan of birds. I love birds,
Mhm.
so that was like really tempting for me. And I read some stuff that like I guess like Owlet is the one to go with if you're like playing like hardcore or whatever. He like
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I couldn't give you the reasons, but I read some stuff that's like he's the one to go with. But I went with Cyndaquil. Two reasons. First reason, Owlet's like a grass type, and I feel like I could get a grass type anywhere in this fucking game.
Right. Hmm.
Um, and Cyndaquil, come on, man, that's like nostalgic shit for me right there.
For
That's
sure.
like that nostalgia, you know. And I never had. He was from Silver, right?
Yeah.
I never played that game. That's like the one I missed, right? And
Wow, that's my favorite one.
I always wanted to play that game. I have such deep like I still like to this day I'm like, "Oh man, I wish my mom would buy that for me." Like right now.
Right now, Mom, can you buy me Heart Gold?
Yeah, please mom, I want it. But so like that nostalgic part of me that's like I never got to have a Cyndaquil and I loved the show then too. So like
Mhm.
I loved those characters in the show. So I was like, I gotta go Cyndaquil. He's my guy. He's the guy. He's cute and his flames
Mhm.
go on and off.
And off, yeah,
I love that
that's
shit.
the coolest part. And I don't know if you've seen the Typhlosion like variant for the region. But
Mm-mm.
he's all like stonered out. Like
Oh.
his eyes are all droopy and he's like he looks sad and depressed, but he's also part ghost.
Oh.
So he's ghost fire.
That's
And
exciting.
I'm like, that's fucking cool. I like that. So that's the one I would go with because honestly, Gen 2 is personally the best. Like Gen 1's great, don't get me wrong. I love Blastoise, I love Charizard. I actually like Venusaur. Venusaur is really cool. But Gen 2,
Those are the three best starters for sure.
all around, fucking fantastic.
So
Fucking fantastic.
for me, I was always a Gen 1 guy, but
Mhm.
I got back into Pokemon with like Ruby, which I guess was
Mhm.
Gen 3.
3,
Um
yeah.
so yeah, I do have a soft spot in my heart for the Ruby Sapphire days.
Right.
But anyway, what you been playing, Nick?
I've been playing too much of Monster Hunter Rise, and that's probably
Love
why
to
I
hear
was
it.
in such a fog on Sunday and a little bit today. I'm getting over it. Um, I've just been so Danielle was out doing something on Sunday, and I'm like, hell yeah, I got like 8 hours. I can do whatever I want. I decided to use those 8 hours to just play Monster Hunter Rise,
I love that.
and that's such a fun game. But like, you not seeing the sun for a full day is rough. it's it's rough, but you know we're recovering, and life goes on. I love this game. I've
Life goes on and
figured
on and
out
on.
figured out what to do, what weapons I like, and how to kind of cheat the system, I guess, to get better things and show off in front of my friends who have the game. Like, oh, how did you get that? You know, a fucking sword that looks like a piece of paper. I'm like, ah, yeah, it's a secret. It's a trade secret. You wouldn't understand, you know. Um,
You
but
know,
yeah,
you
that's
know what
pretty
I
much it.
you know what I miss in video games, Nick? Because
What's
now
that?
everyone's so worried about having a perfectly balanced on broken game,
Hmm.
and I kind of miss the days when games were fucking broken and you could manipulate them and just fuck with them. Because I think that was like the fun of the games. Was like at the end of the game, you're just like so overly powerful that it's like stupid. I miss that shit in video games.
The problem with that though, now
I'm not saying
the
every game should be like that.
the
I'm just saying.
first game that came to my mind was Call of Duty 4. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a specific map called Crossfire where you could get up on top of the roofs and
Mm.
snipe everybody. Um, the problem with that now is the internet exists and it's in like full force. So
Well,
if
I guess I should clarify.
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss it in multiplayer games. I miss it in single player games.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, oh, if you do this one move in Tony Hawk in this one spot, you can do it forever, and you rack up
Yeah,
a million points, and then makes you like $600, and then you can buy whatever you want in the store.
Buy the
Yeah, for
Spider-Man
sure.
outfit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah. I do miss
I
that
miss
shit.
that shit too.
Well, and
I miss
even
that shit
like
too.
Destiny 1 when we would like cheese the bosses. Like I kind of miss that shit. That shit was fun.
Yeah, and then they kept getting rid of it.
I know they would fix it. It's like, don't fix it. I like this. This is fun.
Yeah,
It's stupid.
it's the only way I can do it. I'm dumb. Let me
Yeah.
have this.
I suck at this game. I just want to cheese.
Yeah, I don't want to get good. I just want to cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it. Honestly, that's all I've been playing. I've been really wanting to play Pokemon, and I've even thought about picking up the Switch and playing the Animal Crossing DLC. But just
Oh.
Monster Hunter keeps bringing me back, man. It's just like, come on, little guy, and I'm like, all right, I'll go along with it.
Yeah. Monster Hunter is like Pokemon, so
Kinda. I do have a Monster Hunter Pokemon game as well that I really enjoy. Um,
elaborate.
It's called Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Oh, right, yeah. I forgot
Really
about that
good.
game.
It's a really good Pokemon game.
Did you ever beat that?
I'm close. I'm very close. I don't know what happened. I think something came out, piqued my interest, and then I just kind of didn't play it for a while and kind of forgot where I was.
It
So I'm like,
happens.
it'd be too much work to go back, and I don't really want to restart. So
Yeah.
maybe
It happens.
there'll be a lull day, and I'm like, all right, I'll get back into it. Although there is another game that I want to get back into, and that's the Star Wars game, Fallen Order.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Just give it another shot. I think we'll
play,
talk
yeah,
about
just play
that
it on
in a little
play
bit
it on
here.
PC for sure, for sure. So speaking of, let's get on to the titties. Let's move on to the stories, or the titties, the little titty stories.
Yes.
I can't speak.
It's okay.
Troy Baker no longer partners with Voice First NFT. He reached out on Twitter, and he tweeted out. Let me find the tweet. Here it is. Thank you all for your feedback and patience. After careful consideration, I've decided not to continue the partnership with Voice First NFT. Intentions aside, I heard you and apologize for accusing anyone of hating just by simply disagreeing with me. Uh, I mean,
Yeah, what is there to say? I mean, like,
good on him, good on him.
I guess.
I feel like he jumped into something he didn't quite understand what it was, and then people were like, "Hey, this is actually what you did. This is who this company is," and he's like, "Fuck, all right. I guess I'll go public because I'm getting more hate than good about it." So
Yeah, I'm surprised it took him this long to like announce that he wasn't with them, but I'm sure there was some contractual obligations he had to abide to. So
for sure,
and lawyers, he probably had to like talk to his lawyers before he could like really out them. But like, especially with this Voiceverse, them like I guess stealing content and selling it as NFTs, and then also just the crypto space right now, I guess, is like on a massive decline. So I'm sure
yeah.
he saw that as well and was like, "Fuck this, it's not worth it." So
Yeah. I mean, everything's on a massive decline, but that's all right. We're here to talk about video games. Also, Star Wars 1313. I should have led with this one. Star Wars 1313 had some footage leaked of Boba Fett gameplay. It was like I'm gonna say 13 minutes of gameplay because it's Star Wars 1313.
there you go.
And it's just him like walking around the city and like shooting at guys, and it looks really cool, and it's really too fucking bad that we never got this game.
Yeah, I'm really saddened by it. Like looking at that gameplay, and if you haven't seen it, definitely go look it up. It's worth watching just because it's kind of interesting. Because it's like very early development, you could tell, but you could see where it was going, and it had this like Uncharted sort of linear
It was like
thing.
Uncharted mixed with Cyberpunk is what the vibes I was kind of getting with it. And man, I've been on like a fucking ever since episode 5 of Boba Fett came out. I'm just on a fucking Star Wars like love fest with myself.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude,
I haven't watched it yet, but I know what happens.
Love it. I love it so goddamn much. It's just how it is. Staying on the Star Wars topic, Star Wars Eclipse is reportedly inspired by The Last of Us. I feel like that's not very much news, but you put it in here because you have something to say about it, so let's get into it.
I do have something to say about it,
Mhm.
because I am curious by like what they mean by The Last of Us inspired. Because of course Quantic Dream, who's making Star Wars Eclipse, we all kind of like were excited by the trailer and then kind of scoffed when we saw Quantic Dream at the end because that
Mhm.
trailer looks so epic.
It sure
Um,
does.
but then you're like, oh, it's just gonna be like this point and click adventure thing that Quantic Dream does.
It's gonna be one of those
But
more like a novel, choose your own adventure novel sort of deals.
this gets me thinking, like, is it? Are they gonna actually make a game?
You know what I think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's the only thing that I think this means is that it follows a story of, let's say, a Jedi and his Padawan.
Okay.
I think that's all it's going to be, is just
All right.
father figure, younger sibling is kind of the what I'm getting from
I do love
anybody
that
says the
vibe.
last. Well, yeah, God of War had
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Last of Us had that, obviously.
Last of Us Part 2 had it.
Last of Us Part Two had it. There's a whole bunch of other games that I can't think of right now, and I don't have a list in front of me. But yeah,
Spider-Man
I
had it,
feel
the new one.
kind of.
With his two
But
dads. Tom
what?
Holland Spider-Man and his
You
two
mean the
dads.
movie? You mean the movie? Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I'm like, what? The game didn't have like
Well, I guess
little
Miles
Miles running around.
Morales had like Papa Peter and
Yeah, but that was at the end of the game, and then he just fucking leaves on the second one, and it's just like, okay.
yeah, that's what I
But
meant, yeah.
mhm.
They have
Yeah,
that sit
it's.
down talk, which I like a lot.
I'm actually excited for a Star Wars game that is in that sort of style. I want something that's more about the characters, about the interactions between. I really hope it's basic people just living out, and it's not like, oh, here's Jedi on the run, because we haven't fucking heard that one before. I hope it's like, here's this guy who's dealing with like debt collectors and um
Yeah.
fucking the Hutts want a piece of him and he's trying to outrun the Hutts. Make it like Breaking Bad sort of story with just Star Wars characters.
Okay.
I'm fucking down with that.
Selling their blue crystal.
Selling fucking spice.
I think since it's set in the High Republic, it'd be stupid to not do Jedis.
Yeah.
Like I think you set your stuff in the High Republic if you want to do some crazy
You gotta
Jedi
do
shit.
some Jedis, yeah.
And I actually like the idea of it being a Padawan and his master. I actually, you saying that is like, I'm into that. That sounds hot. Like I will play that. But when they said Last of Us, I was just like, yeah, it could be the story elements. But I was also thinking like maybe Quantic Dream will step out a little bit and do something different here. But I guess
that would be scary. That would be
we'll have to
scary
see.
because they've done not that for every game they've ever put out.
But look
And
at
if for them
Gorilla.
to just flip the script and just be like, we're gonna do something completely different. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gorillas, you're right. But also look at Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. But I also feel like if you do something like that in a studio where it's like you've been doing the same thing over and over and over forever, and then you try something new, I think a lot of times what happens is you end up doing some of your best work because you get like this new passion for something new,
Inspiration, yeah.
and everyone's kind of like learning together and like trying new things. It's not as like stale. I mean, even God of War, it's still more God of War, but it was like a new take on God of War, and it turned out to be like one of the best games
Right.
because they were like, let's do something completely different, like a soft reboot.
Let's do a Last of Us style game.
but you're right. You're right with the fucking Cyberpunk. But I think there's a lot of factors to take. I don't even think that was their plan to do a first person game at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning for sure.
But we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. And to be fair, throughout all of David Cage's games, the Quantic Dream games, like with Heavy Rain and then Beyond Two Souls into Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
They all get a bit more gamier as the games go on.
They also get a bit better as the game. I'm just kidding, because
I mean, I actually agree with that. Like at least on a systems level. We can argue about the stories all day, but like as far as like systems go, I do think Detroit has the best systems out of those 3 games.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you're right. It's true. And then our last little titty, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is planned for reveal this year. Producer confirms.
And this got announced today, because today I guess is the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy.
Oh.
So
7.
Final Fantasy 7. So yeah, and that's I wasn't expecting to see a reveal for that game this year.
At all. I was never expecting a reveal for that game.
I mean, it's got to happen, right?
They could can it, and then it would just be like, yeah, nobody cares anymore.
Yeah, I think
everybody's over the nostalgia.
I think it's sold really well, and then with like Integrate and stuff,
it won a lot of awards and everything. So
yeah, so that's exciting, I guess. If you're into Final Fantasy VII, I think I might give it another shot before the second one comes out to see if
that is another one I want to do. Just play through the story. I got stuck on a side mission where one guy just one hit kills me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, I'm done with this, and I would like to go back and play through just the story missions. I think that would be.
So if they reveal it this year, when do you think it'll release? What do you think?
3 years after that?
Yeah.
4 years after that? Yeah.
So you're thinking like 2024, 25?
No, I'm thinking. Oh yeah, for sure. 2024, 25.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see Final Fantasy. What would the next one be? 16. I think we'll see that before Part 2 of Final Fantasy 7.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. So, and I have a feeling we'll either get that this year or next year. So, maybe a year or two after that, we'll get Final Fantasy 7 Part 2.
Yeah, who knows? It's maybe fucking Xbox will buy them out and. It'll be another 2 years after that.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, me too. But who's to say? Let's move on to the news, shall we? Let's fucking get into it. Then the big heavy hitters. Here we go. Right off the bat, Ubisoft exec on in-game NFT backlash. Gamers don't get it. This comes from Mark Knapp at PC Mag. And the article reads, Ubisoft waded into non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, late last year with Quartz, a platform that lets gamers acquire NFTs known as digits. Oh, geez, the fucking layers in this. Playable inside... these digits are playable inside games like Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Digits are collectible in-game vehicles, weapons, and pieces of equipment that offer players unprecedented ways to connect with and enjoy more value from their games they love, Ubisoft said at the time. Not everyone was a fan, in part because it takes a lot of work to earn these in-game NFTs, IGN explains. Others were concerned about the environmental impact of mining crypto, or they just think NFTs are a scam in general. In an interview with Finder, Ubisoft Strategic Innovations Lab VP Nicholas Howard said gamers need to learn more about what NFTs offer. He quotes, I think gamers don't get what a digital secondary market can bring to them, he said. For now, because of the current situation and context of NFTs, gamers really believe it's first destroying the planet and second, just a tool for speculation. My mouse died.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. So Ubisoft's like all in on this fucking pyramid scheme, I guess.
Yeah.
It's shitty. It's real shitty, I gotta say. The fact that NFTs are taking the world by storm and some woke people are all up in it, and some also woke people are like, this shit's fake, but what are you gonna do?
We're all woke here.
We're all woke. Everybody's woke.
Woke.
It doesn't matter what color skin you have, what your race is. That's the same shit. We're all woke here is the point.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you came from.
I just wanted to point out what the fuck is an Ubisoft Strategic Innovations Lab VP? What is that? What kind of title is that?
Oh, dude, that's what I do. I do that same shit.
Yeah.
I'm a strategic innovations lab vice president
For Lonercast, yeah.
for Lonercast. Yeah. Nice.
Very innovative over here.
Yeah, for sure. We're doing some crazy shit.
Yeah, our content isn't derivative at all.
Yeah.
But like, I, what it seems to me, right, with these NFTs, what they want to do is they want that Steam's marketplace, like how there was with not Call of Duty, Counter-Strike. That there was like, you could buy these guns and these skins and you can sell them. Like, that's what they want for their games. And that shit was a clusterfuck over there, where there were like straight up lawsuits because of like gambling and like people turning that into like laundering money. And yeah, it's just it's an absolute shit show. Like, I don't even know why you'd want this in your game. Well, I do, because you want to make as much money. If you can sell a gun individually, basically as DLC over and over and over again, like, I mean, that's essentially what this is. It's just like, we're trying to make consumers more willing to buy DLCs and to spend more on DLCs.
I think the problem that I have with it is they are limiting all of their resources to, because if it is a true NFT, I haven't looked into what the fuck this bullshit is. Let me go back up to here. I don't know what quartz is. I don't know what their fucking digits are. But what it sounds like, and if it's anything to go off NFTs, it's like, this is the only gun that looks like this or is this. And somebody literally modeled it and put it together and spent all this time to make this gun. And only one person can have it because they spent X amount of dollars on it.
Yeah, I mean,
And
there's probably multiples of each digit, but like, they're limited, right? So like, yeah,
I don't know.
That's how the Steam marketplace was. It's like,
That's
there's
shitty.
multiples.
That's
but
so
like,
shitty. Like,
yeah,
it's a fucking
it's garbage.
skin in your game, and you're just
limiting
going.
it. Yeah, you're limiting
not
the game.
Yeah, it's like the full potential of the game is just shot because
Totally.
exclusivity, I guess. Like, Xbox, I feel like Xbox is like, bring players together. Fucking Game Pass. Fucking PC can game with Xbox, can game with EA or whatever, and Ubisoft is like, hey man, if you want that the other person has, you gotta pay for it. And that's super shitty. And they're doing some scammy shit over at Ubisoft, and I don't respect it.
Yeah, I don't really. I haven't liked an Ubisoft, besides the Mario Rabbids game. I haven't liked an Ubisoft game in a long time, and I've tried, man. Because I used to be a huge Far Cry fan, and the past 2 Far Cry games, I've tried them out, and I just don't like them. And yeah, and shit keeps coming out about them. But I remember back in the day, I mean, we mentioned it earlier in the show with like Tony Hawk. Like, the end goal of those games was to get like the Spider-Man skin. Like, that used to be like part of playing the game, was unlocking these cool ass skins. And now it's like, no, you have to buy them. And it's like, dude, that like takes all the fun out of what games are. And gaming is slowly becoming not about like fun and like a cool hobby and like a good pastime, something to talk about at the water cooler with your friends or whatever. It's becoming like very business oriented and super lame, and yeah, just a way for people to make money and to be grifted on, and yeah, just to be scammed. It's becoming pachinko machines, essentially. It's becoming, yeah, I hate that shit.
But even pachinko machines, like, you put your shit in and it does some shit for you. It's like, look at all these bloop, 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 and you get shit back for it. You're like, here's some extra fucking beads that you can throw into the pachinko machine. This is like, here, give us $20 and you can It's more like those fucking capsule guys that you like go up to the store and you put your money in, your quarter or two quarters, and you rotate the thing, and it's like, here's a fucking slap bracelet. That it's less fun than that. It is
Yeah.
less fun than having a gummy slapper from a vending machine. You know, it's just so shitty.
Well,
What
and this guy, Nicholas Powered or whatever, he's like trying to sell it as like, look, this is a way for you to own a game and then make your money back when you end up selling it in the future. And it's like, it's just not going to work like that for most people. It's just not, man. And people are just going to take advantage of the marketplace, and it's going to be a marketplace you don't want to be part of, you know?
Yep.
And that's,
It's going to turn into like a Diablo marketplace where it's like, yeah, you kind of avoid that place because it's so shitty. Like it's pretty much the dark web, and people are like just shitty all over the place.
it's going to be like RuneScape when you go, hey, follow me and I'll give you $1,000, and then they take you to the
and then
PvP
they take your
area
shit.
and they kill you. Yeah, that's what this is. Yeah, I'm just only in real life.
Well, yeah, with real money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fucking shitty. Fuck Ubisoft. I feel like they are becoming like more of like the least favorite.
Yeah, now that Activision's off the board, you know, they're the most hated now.
And EA's been kind of under the radar for a while.
Keeping it quiet. Yeah, I've noticed that with them. They just don't say shit.
I mean, that's good for them, because as long as they keep their fucking heads down, they should be fine.
Yeah, give us a good Mass Effect and we're good. You know?
Give me more Respawn games. Don't actually, because we're going to be talking about that here in a second. We're going to be talking about that right now. Respawn is apparently working on 3 new Star Wars games, including Jedi Fallen Order 2, or the sequel or whatever.
Jedi Big Chungus.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order 2 Electric Boogaloo. Kat Bailey at IGN writes, EA is far from finished with Star Wars universe. The publisher's working on 3 new Star Wars games, all of which are being overseen in one form or another by developer Respawn Entertainment. The games comprise a sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a first-person shooter, and a strategy game. No release dates have been offered for any of the new games. The new game in the Star Wars Jedi series, which was confirmed to be the start of a franchise shortly after its 2019 release, will once again be directed by Stig Asmussen, who led development of the first game, as well as God of War 3. The Jedi Fallen Order sequel will be joined by 2 additional games set in the Star Wars universe, both of them as yet untitled. One will be a first-person shooter led by Peter Hirschman, who previously served as Vice President of Development at LucasArts, has a long history of working with Lucasfilms, and co-created Medal of Honor. The other will be a strategy game developed by Bit Reactor, a recently formed studio comprised of Firaxis Games veterans, best known for their work on XCOM franchise. Bit Reactor will work closely with Respawn on this new project. It's weird, man. I don't know why Respawn has so much fucking work. I feel like they are more so publishers at this point than developers.
You know what happened? Respawn now for EA is the new DICE. They're the new DICE for EA.
Yeah, you're right.
Because DICE has dropped the ball so many times.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck it. Respawn is killing it. We all we all love Respawn. Someone's writing in here. Sony bought Bungie jumping. I can't stand that. You have no idea how much it. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a second. I don't speak Russian. Anyway, so like back to this. Sorry, I got distracted.
All right.
Yeah, they're the new DICE essentially. They're and with the botch of Battlefront, with the botch of Battlefront, they're like, fuck it, let's just have Respawn do a bunch of these things. Specifically Star Wars Jedi Order, like we all knew we were going to get a sequel to that. The one that really stands out to me is this strategy game.
A Firaxis game?
Yeah. Well, it's not Firaxis, but
Bit Reactor?
It's funny because when Firaxis announced they were doing the Marvel game, right? Me and you both were like, yeah, that's cool, but wouldn't it have been a lot better if it was a Star Wars game? Because you could have like stormtroopers and like that sounds awesome. That sounds really cool.
Yeah. It just sounds like a better XCOM, like a better lore XCOM, you know?
Yeah. So I do wonder what the future of DICE is, because DICE just recently released the new Battlefield game, of course, which is, as far as I could tell, it sold well at first, but I don't think it's retaining an audience very well, and I don't think it's continued to sell well.
No.
And it's just kind of, I think it's kind of cool that Respawn are the guys, because they're like, fuck it, Respawn, they just make good work. Yeah, they're basically publishers at this point under EA, and I'm okay with it. I mean, it does kind of mean like we're not gonna get a
Titanfall 3 for a minute.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. But if we're not gonna get it for a while, I'll take some kick-ass Star Wars games in the meantime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
For
pretty
sure.
cool.
Yeah. I remember when Respawn released Titanfall 2 alongside Battlefield, and I'm like, dude, this is Respawn's death. EA is gonna pull the plug on Respawn because like they're so shitty at deciding when to release these games that Titanfall 2 is just not going to have a chance. And it didn't sell very well. But then Apex comes out, and that's like #1 fucking battle royale. And I just saw like they just released a trailer for the new season, and it's #1 trending on YouTube. I'm like, shit, man, they are kicking ass. So I'm sure EA is looking at that and go, well, we can't get rid of Respawn, but we can move the teams away from DICE because they're not doing shit right over there. Yeah, it makes me nervous. What I was going to say originally is it makes me nervous that the guys that made Titanfall 2 are overlooking 3 different games. I feel like that's spreading a company really thin. It's spreading a developer really thin on projects, unless they've grown considerably, which I have not heard about.
I think they have. I think they do have 2 actual like development studios, and then here it's like with this XCOM sort of game, this is being made by Bit Reactor, just overseen by Respawn.
Right, but still, you've got people coming in and out and going, does this look right? We need help with this. We can do this, blah, blah, blah. What do you think about this? And then the people who are like overseeing each of these games, because there's people at the top who have like, you know, committees and like teams and whatnot. I feel like they would be spread so thin throughout all of these, because they've 4 games. They've got Apex, and then they've got these 3 games that we know about. And it's all of them are different. All of them, I'm sure, did during different time periods, and it's just kind of it's concerning what they're doing to Respawn.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. It does feel like they're being stretched thin. I have some I'll say I'm cautiously optimistic about it, I guess, because to me it seems like EA is like, oh, we botched our time with Star Wars. We really fucked it up, and now that there's other Star Wars games coming, of course, we just talked about Eclipse, and also there's that Untitled Ubisoft one that's being made. I almost feel like EA is like, we have to prove ourselves, so let's put Respawn on this shit. Of course, they're gonna give Respawn all the money. You know, they'll have the money to expand.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, especially like if Bit Reactor is making XCOM, and I have full faith in them just in the fact that, like, you know, it's the dudes who made XCOM, so like they understand how to make the game. They probably don't need a whole lot of input.
Right.
Then they've got this guy who was the vice president of development at LucasArts. Probably hella understands Star Wars. Probably doesn't need a whole lot of input. It it is also, and of course the Fallen Order sequel. You know, that was probably written and developed while they were making the first one. So, and really fast turnaround on that first game already to begin with. So they're probably trucking through that real quick. But I do wonder, like, what this like Medal of Honor, you know, first person shooter is gonna be like. Is this gonna be like, hey, let's do Battlefront 3, but like a hot new take on it, or are they gonna call it something else?
I feel like it's going to be a single player game. I feel like it's just gonna be, let's have fucking Crisis in the Star Wars universe. I feel like that would be the correct move to do, because they're obviously fucking failing on multiplayer in all forms over there.
Except for Apex. Except for Apex.
Well, I mean, yeah, Apex, but people, there are some vocal people on like the subreddits and stuff that hate Apex. Like they feel like it's unbalanced, and
to be fair, it's, you know, it's getting kind of old now. So
yeah, it's true. And Apex is kind of the way it's taken, and all the DLC, all the battle pass stuff just gets less and less worth it to even play the game. So they're fucking that up. But I don't know where I was going with this.
I feel like that goes without saying, though. Like, that's gonna happen as your game gets older,
right?
So I'm optimistic. I am curious though with the first person shooter. Like, it would be kind of neat if it's like, fuck it, let's have Respawn do Battlefront 3, and I would also just love to see a Battlefront 3, because we've never seen a third installment of that game.
Yeah,
it always gets cut off after
that would be cool. It would be cool. Yeah, fuck man, I'm down. I'm down for Battlefront 3 from Respawn.
Yeah,
give me grappling hooks, jetpacks, and all that bullshit. Let's move on to the biggest news that came out today.
Indeed.
Bungie is joining PlayStation. This comes from Jim Ryan himself, CEO of PlayStation, from the PlayStation blog. And he writes, "Today I'm happy to announce Bungie will be joining the PlayStation family. First off, I want to be very clear to the community that Bungie will remain an independent and multi-platform studio and publisher. As such, we believe it makes sense for it to sit alongside the PlayStation Studios organization, and we are incredibly excited about the opportunities for synergies and collaboration between these two world-class groups. I have spent a lot of time with Pete Parsons, Jason Jones, and the Bungie management team to develop the right relationships where they will be fully backed and supported by Sony Interactive Entertainment and enabled to do what they do best: build incredible worlds and captivate millions of people. Bungie's world-class expertise in multi-platform development and live game service will help us deliver on our vision of expanding PlayStation to hundreds of millions of gamers. Bungie is a great innovator and has developed incredible property tools that will help PlayStation Studios achieve new heights under Herman Holst's leadership." Here are a few words from Herman Holst about the exciting Yeah, so fucking big news. Xbox buys Activision Blizzard. Sony comes around and buys fucking Bungie, which is bizarre to me. The first time I read this news, I'm like, oh shit. PlayStation owns the guys that made Halo, and the guys that made Halo Xbox owns the guys that made fucking Spyro.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening in this world? It's so bizarre that the flip-flops that are going on. Other than that, I feel like not a whole lot is going to change about it. I don't see them like taking this off of Game Pass, at least not for like a few years. You know, there's got to be some contractual obligation with like Destiny 2 at least. I feel like if they wanted to do something different and make it standalone, I guess they'd have to remake Destiny 3. Otherwise, people would be fucking pissed. Could you imagine you have fucking Destiny 2 and it's like, well, you're done, guys, because PlayStation bought it? That would not rub fans the right way.
Yeah.
Like we released DLC, but this is only for the PlayStation people because we said so. I think it's good news for Destiny specifically. I think it's good news for Destiny. I think that they'll make a new Destiny and it'll be PlayStation exclusive and it will be better than Destiny 2 and they will stop fucking around with Destiny 2 and all that bullshit that they've got going on in there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, a few thoughts. I don't think they're going to be taking Destiny 2 off of PC Game Pass. It is interesting to see this happen right after that was announced that it's coming to PC Game Pass. Almost makes me believe that Bungie was like kind of struggling there for a minute for money. But you know, I don't think this is like a reaction either to Xbox. I think maybe announcing it now is a reaction to Xbox, but I think this was going to happen either way. You know, this is something that they've probably been talking about for months and months. So maybe they had planned on announcing this like at E3 or something. But they're like, fuck it, let's announce it 2 weeks after the acquisition of Activision from Microsoft.
Right.
So yeah, like maybe announcing it is a reaction, but I don't think the purchase is a reaction. Yeah, Destiny 2 is not going to be leaving Xbox, much like, you know, Call of Duty is not going to be leaving, or Warzone is not going to be leaving PlayStation, because those games are already out. What it does mean is the future of Bungie's games will be PlayStation exclusive. I believe that wholeheartedly. I also know the rumor has been Bungie is working on a new IP. So that's kind of cool. The other thing I think of immediately and why I think this is a great purchase for PlayStation is, you know, PlayStation, they kill it in the third person realm. Like they have so many great third person games, you know, God of War, The Last of Us, like all their games, Ghost of Tsushima, they're all third person action adventure games. And what they've really been lacking ever since, you know, Killzone is a solid first person shooter, which Bungie is known for. Like that is their bread and butter. It's been their bread and butter since Halo.
So they do it really well.
They do, and that's the one thing. Like you can hate on Destiny 2 all you want, but you go back and play it, and you're like, damn, it just feels amazing. They just have that shit on lock. So that's huge for PlayStation. What I hope PlayStation doesn't do is they turn Bungie into another studio that makes third-person action adventure games.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The guys that did Destiny really want to do.
Yeah, they wanted to switch it up.
Open world game in third person, and it's going to be shooting and cover based, and it's like, oh fuck.
I would absolutely play that game.
Oh yeah.
It's not exactly what I want from Bungie. But yeah, I think this is huge news, and I was saying this earlier. We have like a private chat with some friends, and we were talking about this a little bit. You know, Xbox picked up Activision Blizzard, which is a studio that it has a lot of, you know, bad blood associated with it right now. You know, it's not exactly a squeaky clean company. Bethesda, not exactly loved with the studio, with the fans rather, when it was purchased. Our friend Patrick did bring a good point. Like that's really just Bethesda Studios, id, and you know, Machine Games, like all the other studios under Bethesda are beloved. But I still think, like, as far as like the name Bethesda went, I really do think it was kind of widely not liked in that moment.
Right.
We got the same games. We got Skyrim all the time. Everyone was over it. Fallout 76. And then PlayStation comes out and they're like, we're buying Insomniac, which is one of the most beloved studios, and has
almost underrated studios as
Yeah.
well. Like Xbox had Insomniac, they had a deal with them, and they released what was that
Sunset
game?
Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive, and it's fucking fantastic. People liked it. They didn't do anything else with it. They didn't want to do anything with it, and PlayStation's like, all right, well, we'll put them on Spider-Man.
Yep.
It's like dope.
Well, and to be fair, Insomniac has worked with PlayStation for a long time as well, with like the Ratchet and Clank games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, they already had a relationship there. And then they picked up Bungie now, which is another kind of beloved studio. Our friend Patrick also brought up the point that a few months back, I'm sure we talked about it here, there was some crunch and accusations that came out of Bungie. But I don't think it was like as egregious as it was with Activision. I also remember Bungie being like, yeah, we fucked up and we fired a bunch of people.
Yeah, they did that. I remember that.
Yeah, and they took the proper actions. So like I think the difference between Xbox and PlayStation now, I think a lot of people were talking about how Xbox is going to dominate PlayStation. I would be included. But now with this acquisition, it kind of reminds me that like PlayStation is the like boutique system. This is the system with the game of the year games. Like you come here to play the game of the year. Yeah. And for our ecosystem, our trophy system, it's just you come here for the PlayStation experience.
Yep.
And Xbox is sort of like you come here to play Halo. And
you come here to play games.
Yeah, and both things are valid,
Yep.
Totally. They're both totally valid. But yeah, I think PlayStation should keep going this route. Like if you're gonna buy studios, buy a Bungie, or buy a I don't know, maybe they pick up Annapurna. Like,
oh yeah,
like
for sure.
PlayStation should go pick up that game studio. Like, like pick up those kind of things. The the more boutique sort of gaming systems.
The spectacles.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing I'm curious about with this, and then I'll let you run with what you want to say, is I wonder what's going to happen with both PC gaming with PlayStation, with Sony, and I wonder how this affects Project Spartacus or whatever the fuck it's called, their Game Pass competitor. Like I think that's gonna be the real like what's going on with Sony. I think that's still the question in the air. Them buying Bungie just kind of shows like we're not scared of you, Xbox. Like we know what we're doing. And so I'm curious about Project Spartacus, and that'll really be what settles it, I think.
Yeah. What was the first question that you asked?
Did I ask a question? I don't remember.
Yeah, you said the two things that it was something about Project Spartacus.
Oh,
I feel like
PC gaming.
Oh, okay. I feel like that the Project Spartacus, the Game Pass competitor, I feel like this is all set up for that. They're like, we are going to release this competitor, this competing idea with Xbox. We're going to need some heavy hitters in there. We're going to need, Destiny, the guys that made Destiny. We're going to need God of War. We're going to need shit that people want to play. And by all awards that have ever been out, I think PlayStation has won more awards than any other publisher ever. Because
probably with Last of Us alone, probably.
They put out so many quality games. They have the developers that know what they're doing. They're not fucking around. They're not making a game just because it's what everybody's making right now. They are like, here's an idea. Here, they're very much like cinematic, like spectacles, whereas Xbox is more of like, you just go to the movies to have fun. Like that's, I feel like it's this is with your buds. This is an experience, like we're hanging out on Xbox. But also, if you want something to change, you want your mind to think differently after you do something, you play a PlayStation game. And with this acquisition, it just got that much bigger, I guess. And with Bungie, I feel like they now have the utilities to make a game that is more than just a shooter. More than probably they have somebody to in there to advise on how to make a good story, or maybe I don't know. PlayStation knocks it out of the park all the time. There's got to be a reason. There's a fucking monkey's paw in each of these fucking studios, and they're like, well, if you ever run out of ideas, go to the monkey paw. And like somebody's been paying the ultimate price, but it's working out.
It's Jim Ryan. He sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah, that poor guy. And then for PC games, I think they are literally going to do the same shit. What I really hope is that whatever the Game Pass is that's coming to PlayStation, I hope that comes to PC as well, so that PC will be the place to play everything.
That's what I was thinking.
You spend $20, $25 for both services. You have a good enough PC, you can run whatever you want, all in one place.
Yeah, or you do what I do, and you could flip flop between the two.
Yeah. So it's exciting. It's something new, brand new, and video games is changing, and shit is getting intense. The console wars are coming back.
They're alive, baby.
They're alive. Like there was a few years where it's like, man, nobody gives a shit anymore. All the consoles are the same. It doesn't matter what you buy. And then now it's like, shit, man, we might have console wars again, because like Starfield's only coming to Xbox. Fucking, PlayStation God of War 2 is coming to PlayStation and not anything else. I've seen so many people play God of War on PC and go, God damn it, I need to buy a PlayStation now. Like, you gotta have the games to back up your console, and PlayStation does that.
Yeah, I think that's the genius. I think it'd be really cool if, Project Spartacus comes to PC. I don't think it will, though, because I think the genius, and you just said it right there, the genius of them releasing their games and then like a year or two later releasing it to Steam, it does exactly what you just said. Oh shit! I need a PlayStation so I can play these games.
I need to buy another thing from this company
because I want to play the next one day one, or I want to play whatever Sony is putting out day one. I don't want to wait 2 years.
Yeah,
and that's the experience you get with the PlayStation. Where Xbox is, in a little bit of a different situation, where they're like, we're not that concerned with selling boxes because we already have the operating system. We don't care. Like you come to PC, that's our operating system. We win. It's a win-win for us.
Yeah, we win either way.
Yeah.
It's like buying an Xbox for Sony. It's like we have a Blu-ray player in the Xbox. Sony gets a cut of that every single time. So it's and I feel like a lot of people are in my boat where I have a PlayStation and a PC, where they play the game on PlayStation and then, a year, 2 years later it releases for PC and they're like, damn, I should play that again, but on PC, and they buy it again,
4K or whatever.
Upgraded graphics, mods and shit. So it's smart. But they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and we're gonna look out for it, and we'll report here.
Before we move on, I'm excited. This news excites me. I was scared for PlayStation for a second. Them doing this though is like, okay, they're still in the game and they're still swinging big, or as Trump said, bigly.
Jesus,
they're doing it bigly, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
PlayStation is the Trump of video games.
Don't say that. Moving on. Recent reviews via OpenCritic. We got 2 games that just came out last week, and the reviews are in. They're both really good. Pokemon Legends Arceus has got an 85 out of 44 critic reviews. It's doing pretty good. People seem to like it. Jake likes it. And then Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Has an 87 out of 78 critic reviews. That's going really good as well. So if you were thinking about picking up either one of those, chances are you should probably spend the money and pick those up.
Hey, I just want to I want to mention our fantasy critic over here, which you can go watch the stream VOD, which I posted on YouTube. We did like a fantasy football sort of deal, but with video games. So far, the only person who has points on the board is you, Nick.
It's me.
With Pokemon Legends Arceus, you got 15 points out of that. And Patrick, our friend Patrick with Big Dick Games as his publisher, he counterpicked you with Pokemon Legends Arceus. He now has negative 15 points. So there you go. Nick in the lead in our fantasy critic. I think throughout the year, I'm going to like mention our fantasy critic when the games come out during this open critic section, because
that's fine.
It's a good time to update that shit. Anyway.
Yeah. To look at it for yourself.
That too. Yeah.
So selfish.
Also, I made a hot pick on the fantasy critic. I did a bid on a game, Nick. I picked up Dokkaevi. I had to do it. I had to pick up Dokkaevi.
Oh man, I've got to pick some that shit out.
I heard some people say they got to play it like behind closed doors, and it was fucking amazing. And I was like, oh, I got to pick this shit up right now. And if people are doing behind closed doors things, like this shit's coming out this year.
Got to be pretty soon for sure. There's a couple of things that I need to add onto mine as well. Next week in games. Next week, we've got a PlayStation State of Play revolved all around Gran Turismo. That comes out on Wednesday, so we'll report on that probably. If it's not ass, sometimes they're ass, sometimes they're not. Gran Turismo looks fun though. It's different, and I'm excited to see about it. Life is Strange Remastered Collection is coming to all the consoles except for the Switch. On February 1st. Dying Light 2 Stay Human is coming out on all consoles except for the Switch on February 4th. And Ollie Ollie World is coming out on all consoles.
Including the Switch.
This one is on the Switch, February 8th. So look out for those games. Yeah, seems good. Seems like a good time to be a video gamer.
Yeah, February is the month.
Don't forget to like the show, follow us on all the fucking things. Check out our other Loner Cast shows. We got the Marvel MCU spoiler cast that we've been doing. It's a series, all the movies, we're covering it all, we're listing them all, and man, I don't want to say a chore because it's actually fun, but like it's
becoming one. Yeah.
It's taken a minute, and I'm ready to do something else.
We're so close though.
We're like 4 movies away.
And by the time we're done, fucking Doctor Strange is gonna come out, and we got another one to do.
I know. And then jeez, we'll have to keep updating these lists because I'm sure we'll have a bunch of them. We'll be like the next 007 movie. So check that out on our YouTube channels, Lonercast, and follow us on Twitter. You can follow the show at Lonercast1. You can follow Jake at Emergency Pizza _. You can follow myself at Fatal _Microwave, and also tune in on 3:30 Monday, every Monday, to watch us live on twitch.tv/Lonercast, and give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe if you want to. Give us a dislike. They don't fucking matter anymore. Comment any questions you have, anything you want to talk about for next week down in the description of our YouTube page, on our Twitter pages, anywhere you really want. We'll include them in next week's show. And everybody have a good fucking rest of your night.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You better have a good fucking day.